Thank you. John Iskander from the Foreign Service Institute. Two related questions. One is, seems to me whether you like it or not, you're part of the, whatever, the Arab Cold War that's happening right now, where there's Al Arabiya and Al Jazeera, and you guys are on different sides. You're understood to be on different sides. I don't say that you intend to be, but what's your feeling about that? Yeah. And then related to the Al Arabiya question, is it like Pepsi and Coke where you need each other, or do you feel like it's a real fight to the for the soul of the Arab populace?
Absolutely wonderful question.
Yeah. Definitely, we are not Pepsi and Coke. To start with, we have adopted a philosophy of reporting about the Middle East. We put the human being at the center of our editorial policy. We are a TV station that has maybe covered intensively the dynamics of the society more than concentrating on figures of government and people who have already been at the center of attention. We have never had friendly relationship with governments. However, we have very friendly relationship with people. So that was, sometimes we are accused that we are populist channel. I argue that we are not. I argue that a lot of things happening in the Middle East are not happening in press conferences, not happening in meeting rooms, are happening on the margin, without understanding the people themselves, the social and cultural fabric of the society, without embedding yourself with the public and listening carefully to what everyone has to say, meeting with people and allowing them to speak on your channel from various walks of life. I think we cannot reflect the Middle East as it's supposed to be reflected. Some other channels would prefer to be more on the side of what governments say and what governments do. It is unfortunately, maybe fortunately, is not our actually philosophy of reporting. Governments are there, government officials appear on Al Jazeera, but we don't see ourselves a TV station that is focusing on the center or is just repeating what politicians are talking about or alienating ourselves with certain governments. This is what Al Jazeera, and I don't want to talk about anyone else here.
Wadah, let me just, before I bring this to a close, ask you just a question. As you look at your network and you look at your achievements and successes, what would you say is the biggest deficit, the thing that Al Jazeera isn't getting right quite yet, that you and your management of the network are really applying yourself to, that you think you've got to overcome?
Two major challenges, actually, we have pointed out in our strategy. The first one is to reach out to more youth, and this is what we are intending to do very soon. I think, while everyone is busy talking about politics and conflicts, the new generation, 60% of the Arab world actually are youth, would like to go ahead with their life, would like to see something different. And sometimes politics is monitored and people follow politics with certain age. So this is number one. And the second issue is more interactivity, integrating new media in the traditional media itself, reaching out to certain platforms that go beyond traditional means. So we would like to include that as well in our editorial programming cycles.
Well, I just want to say that I'm thrilled that the U.S. government finally came to its senses and got you the visa to come over here. I will be blogging later in the week in my own, with what I'm allowed to share about the important meetings that Wadah Khanfar and his team from Al Jazeera are having in the U.S. government. Not to be a friend of the U.S. government, but it's one thing to have access and not have access. And I think it's very clear, and I can say this without you having to say it, that looking at the itinerary, whether the meetings go well or not, there are good meetings, and it seems to me that at least the Obama administration is trying to push reset. We'll see what happens. And it's a great pleasure and privilege to have you here in Washington. I know you're speaking at the Council on Foreign Relations later in the week in New York. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.